Business?
Yes, we are.
Okay, very good. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for this opportunity to present ClientLook. So, in very short fashion this morning, we're gonna race through the major features of ClientLook, and so let me tell you about what ClientLook is, where it came from, and how it can fit in your business. So ClientLook is a commercial real estate CRM, and CRM is a fancy term. It stands for customer relationship management. It used to be back in kind of back in the day called contact management, but it's a term that for a software tool that's used to organize basically contacts, and in the commercial real estate world, also properties and deals and listings and all the information that's pertinent to your company. So, what exactly is ClientLook? So, we are a CRM solution that's based solely in this industry. So we're not ClientLook isn't an add-on for another generic sales CRM or sales tool. It's built solely for commercial real estate professionals. We've been around for a while now. We were founded in 2009. And like I said, one of the distinguishing things about ClientLook is that, as you're going to see in the demonstration, every field, every button, every link, everything we do is built around catering to one niche, which is commercial real estate. So we're really able to hone the features and the workflow to fit exactly the nuances and the eccentricities of the way that we all work. So as I mentioned, ClientLook tracks contacts, properties, deals, and listings, as you're going to see in the tour. And we're almost at 1,700 cities now. We track this on our homepage. If you're ever interested, there's a big map of the world, and we've expanded into 9 countries. So what is it that makes ClientLook different, special than other CRM offerings that are out there? Well, the single biggest thing is this native design. The fact that we cater and that we focus just on commercial real estate means that you don't have other features in the system that just don't apply to you. Years ago, I built a CRM system on top of an old desktop product called ACT. And for those of you that have been around in the industry long enough, you'll remember ACT. It was called Aries for ACT. And the idea of building on top of an application is great from the software developer standpoint, in that it gives you a lot. There's a lot of base application that you can take advantage of. The problem is that there's so much of the application, 90+%, that you can't change. It's doing the add-on route is very much like retrofitting a building, but it's drastic. It's like retrofitting, an industrial building for residential. And so there's a load-bearing beam in the middle of my living room now that obviously you wouldn't have put there if you had designed the building natively for its use. So that's one of our big advantages. One of the things that we take very seriously at ClientLook is the idea that none of our users should ever need to invest time in training. And this is foreign to a lot of technology products in general, in that, a lot of times training, support, customization is a part of their business. It's a revenue generating source for them, but not for us. We take the approach that every feature that we put into ClientLook has to be so easy that we don't have to tell you how to use it. And in fact, kind of the acid test for that is if we present a feature and it generates questions, or it's not obviously intuitive what it does, we know we've missed the mark. So one of the other big things that we identified some years ago, which was a risk to adoption with a CRM, it is a challenge with anybody who uses CRM, was the fact that you have to use it. So think about, we all use some sort of contact tracking tool. So the one thing that we identified was that the idea of using something like ClientLook, investing an hour or two a day in simple data entry, was, in my opinion, not worth most of our users' time. So you're a high-earning commercial real estate professional, and we're going to ask you to sit down in front of your computer and do a couple of hours of manual data entry. So that's obviously not the highest use of your time. So we came up with this virtual assistant service where our users will offload their data entry, whether it's business cards or lists or the outcome of a conversation I just had, to a team of virtual assistants, either through email or through voicemail. We've done a whole lot with respect to integration. I believe, since CRM is really kind of the hub of the business day, that we have a responsibility to connect the data that you would put into ClientLook to as many other applications as possible. And you're going to see some examples of that in the demo. But you see the list there. We are actively integrating with as many different firms as we can, and the workflows that we create are really phenomenal. ClientLook also has real-time client collaboration capability. So this is another kind of fancy term, but basically, ClientLook helps you provide activity reports to your clients in a real-time online way. So gone are the days when you have to generate a spreadsheet or scramble to come up with some marketing report for your clients. ClientLook will build it all for you, and you can print a report if you want to, but the more novel approach, the more modern approach, is that you give your clients login access to sort of a light version of ClientLook, where they can log in and see what's going on with your deals that you're working on, whatever assignment you might have with them. So I'll show you how all that works too. Okay, so here are the things that we're going to go through in our product tour today. Now, we're going to look at contacts and properties and listings, deals, activities, and then how we're going to coordinate some marketing. And the last thing I'll show you is a preview of our upcoming iPhone app. Okay, so let's jump into the contact tracking system. So you've logged into ClientLook. You've gone to any browser on any machine, anywhere you have internet access, and you've logged into your account. And up comes this list of contacts. And so the obvious question is, where do all these contacts come from? So typically you'll have a list somewhere. You'll have Outlook, you'll have a spreadsheet, you'll have another CRM that you convert from. So you can import these records here. You can send this data to the virtual assistant to import, or you can manually add these contacts yourself. But one way or another, they all get into the system. So, and before I go any further, so look down in the bottom right corner. So in the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see this little kind of help icon. So this is one of the ways that we've made getting help when you do have a question all that much more efficient. So this is your live connection into the virtual assistant team and to our support team. So whenever you have a question, you just click this little pop-up, and up comes this screen that shows you all the questions that you've ever asked in the past. And obviously you can type new conversation there, and you can ask away. The responses come back via email and within our app. So you're going to see that little icon all over the place in ClientLook. I just wanted to make sure you knew what it was. Okay, so let's jump now down into a contacts record. And here we are in the record of Jessica Allman. So let me tell you a little bit about the screen here. So the purpose of this is to put as much information in front of you at one time as possible. So you're on the phone with Jessica Allman, and you want to have quick access to anything and everything related to this contact. So you can see these tabs there: updates, and activities, and properties. And over on the left side, you see phone numbers, and email address. And if I scroll down here, you'll see things like custom fields, or all the notes and the activities that you've logged for this person. So let me tell you about the update section first. So this is really the heart and soul of your CRM system. This is where you pull up a contact and you can see the correspondence, the conversations, the property tours, the outcome of any meeting that you've ever had if you're loading this stuff into this context record. So I can pull up Jessica, and I feel like an expert because I can pick up exactly where I left off, and that's the big goal here. So how does stuff get into this updates tab? So you can, as this big block applies here at the top, what's your update? You can type something. I spoke to Jessica about our deal, and we're going to meet next week. So you enter that, you click OK, and away you go. If you're in the field, you can call the voicemail service for the virtual assistant. You've met with Jessica, you call this voicemail and you say, I met with Jessica and she wants to make an offer on a property. Schedule a follow-up call for me for next Tuesday. And all that happens behind the scenes, and you're sent an email, within minutes it says, the task has been done. The other way that information gets into this contacts updates tab is via email. So one of the things that ClientLook is really good at is organizing your emails. And this is something that we all have problems with. You send all these emails, and lots of people create these crazy folders in Outlook or whatever you're using to try to track, coordinate all this email correspondence, because it's a lot of what you do communication-wise. So here's the ClientLook solution for that. So every ClientLook user gets their own email address. So you see this big long email address here in the middle. If you click email me a vCard here, this email address gets added into your mobile device, to your tablet, into Outlook, whatever you might be using. But the point is this: when you send an email, you simply BCC ClientLook, and you literally type in ClientLook into your BCC, and it pulls in this address. So here's what happens. So you send an email off to Jessica. ClientLook gets a copy, and then it will look into the list of recipients for your email, everybody that was sent the email, and it will attempt to link that email to those records. So now in ClientLook, you have every email that you've ever sent or received, including the attachments, and they're all organized by the contact or the context that they were sent to. So this dramatically changes the efficiency of our users in the way that they organize email and coordinate data into people's records. Okay, so let's jump into the activities here. So the activities tab is the way that we view the future activities for people. So this is the pending stuff. What's coming up in the future, and this is great, especially if you're using ClientLook in a multi-user environment, because here we're able to see not only in the updates tab what's happened in the past between me and my teammates, but also what's coming up in the future. So I'm going to see my future activities or my colleagues' future activities here. Now, one thing that's important and is unique to ClientLook is the way in which you can privatize stuff. So anything that you put into a context record, as an example, can be privatized. So I can add an activity here that I'm going to meet with Jessica, but I can privatize it or just share it with my partner or my team. And the same thing is true with updates. So this allows companies to have contacts that are shared throughout the company, because a phone number and email address are not proprietary, but what you put into that company may be. Okay, so let's jump now to the properties tab. So again, kind of continuing with this concept of when you pull up Jessica Allman, we want you to be an expert with building this relationship. And one of the ways in which you're going to do that is by understanding the relationships that this contact has with properties. So ClientLook has a properties module, which we'll talk about next, but this tab shows us the properties that this contact is related to. So you can relate somebody to a property any way you want. They could be an owner or a tenant or an attorney or a broker or a prospect. And the trick is how you get this property information in your ClientLook account. So here's the way that, here's a simple way of doing that, and a simple way of relating a contact to a property through our integration with Xceligent. So for those of you who don't know Xceligent, Xceligent is a national commercial real estate information services company, and they have a service where we can tap into their database that allows us to do the following. So I'm on Jessica's record, and she identified to me that she owns a property in Southern California. So I can come in here and I can link her to that property if I have that property in ClientLook already. But I know I don't have that property in ClientLook. So either in a traditional CRM world, I'm stuck, or I go create some little address for that property in the hopes that in the future I will be adding that data going forward. But here's how it works. So I can change my source here to be Xceligent. So now it gives me access to all the Xceligent markets, and I'm going to choose Southern California, and I'm going to type in a few characters of an address, and it gives me this list of matching properties. So these are inventory records, building records, and up comes the property, and then I choose one or more relationships. Okay, so I can choose that she's an owner or a broker or a tenant or whatever I want. So I select one, and then I click relate this property, and I'm done. So in the background, I have imported that property from Xceligent in this case, and I've related this person to that property. So we'll jump into the property module next, and I'll show you what a property record looks like. But that's the short circuit to gaining access to new property information and relating it to a person. All right, deals. So deals. We're going to get into the deals module in a minute, but these are the deals that this contact is related to. Marketing. So here's ClientLook has an integration with MailChimp, and I'll show you an example of how this workflow operates in a second. But here's kind of the payoff to that integration is as I can pull up a contact in ClientLook, and I can see, in this case, she's been sent 15 campaigns. She has a 7% open rate and a 7% click rate. And down below, I see every campaign that this contact has been sent, and I can click through to the links and get a better understanding for what Jessica, in this case, is interested in based on the things that I've sent. Now, groups, we can subdivide our big, massive contact database into smaller segments using groups, and that's a really simple core feature within ClientLook. Okay, so let's now jump into our properties module. Okay, so here's the properties module of ClientLook. This is where, over time, you create your own proprietary list of properties. You develop your own expertise. You create a history with these properties. So the goal, one of the goals of ClientLook is, in as much as we're trying to help you build relationships with people, we're trying to do the same thing with respect to properties so that you understand how to match people and properties together. That's how you make money. So there's a couple of ways that property information gets here. I can click this add a new property button up here at the top, and I can manually add a new property, and I just type in a bunch of data fields. Very simple. Secondarily, I can click that same button, and I can choose add from provider that you see here, and it will pop up this list that allows me to pull in property data from two sources. So one of them is Xceligent, one of them is BuildOut. If you have a BuildOut subscription, you've entered property information there, we can pull that property down. But in this Xceligent example, I want to pull in an office building in Las Vegas, or whatever the case is. I can go through the same sort of steps that you saw in the context record and pull that property down. All right, so let's jump into a property record and see what's going on here. So this is the Michelson. It's an office building, 36,000 square foot office building. You can see up here at the top, and it has a variety of tabs of information. So the overview tab provides, as the name suggests, an overview of the property, including, since this property is related to the Xceligent database, the Xceligent property record, public record information, which is updated live every time this property loads. You can see our link to RPR there. So for those of you who are realtors, you can generate demographic reports, all kinds of really powerful analysis for this address using the RPR integration. If I scroll down, you see more property information over there on the left. We have an integration with the Analyst Pro for lease and sale analysis, which is really great. And then you can add your own custom fields. So as we move through more of the tabs here, you'll see this is the Updates tab, just like a contact where you entered your notes and the things that you've done. You can do the same thing with a property. Or you can add a contacts note and you can link it to this property. So what we typically see is every conversation that someone has with an owner or a tenant, that information gets populated into the Updates tab. Activity, these are future activities for this property that are typically related to a contact. Then we've got things like availability. So these are the spaces that I represent, as a broker within this property. But these are also the spaces that I pull in live from Xceligent. So as I pull up this property, I see their availability for sale, for lease right here in the list here. Same is true with comps. I see lease and sale comps for the property pulled in from the Xceligent system. I've got files. This is my permanent archive of any sort of digital imagery, and these are photographs, And then I've got people. So people are the people that I've related to this property, or in this case, you're seeing an example of the source from Xceligent again. So they can show me all the tenants and the owner and the sublet agents and the true owner and brokers and all kinds of stuff. Deals, these are the deals we're working on for this property, marketing campaigns that we sent, and groups. Okay, so I know I'm moving fast here, but I want to make sure I jump into all these modules here in my limited amount of time. So let's talk now about listings. So if you're a listings broker, listings agent, ClientLook provides you with a place to put those listings and then a way to use ClientLook to push that data out to other places. So you've got your property record in ClientLook, very complete property record with building photos and property characteristics and attributes and ownership and all kinds of stuff. So from that property record, you can create a listing. So in ClientLook, you add listings to a property. So you have that base building record in there. You choose the property record, and away you go. So here is an example of a listing, same property from before, the Michelson. This is availability. So there's 31,000 square feet available between this lease rate range. Out here in California, we're monthly, which is why you see that sort of characteristic. And then as we go through, you see the spaces. So the goal of the listings module is to give you the ability to track your own internal listing archive. This isn't for all the market's listings. This is for your own personal listing management, so that you can track who has the listing, how much office space are we available versus industrial, what agents or brokers internally are representing space, what deals are we tracking for these. In terms of files, you can track obviously all your brochures, your content, and that sort of thing. Same thing with images. And then under Publish, you can push this data to currently a couple of other resources, one of which is Build Out. So I can check this little box here, and then anything that I change within this listing gets pushed to Build Out. Assuming you have a Build Out subscription and you're going to be creating marketing materials around this availability. And then Commercial Search. CommercialSearch.com is a giant online free marketplace for both posting your listing for sale, lease, and for people to find and search for availability. So you check that box, and your listing will flow up there. So again, you're maintaining your information in ClientLook, and then you're extending it out to other services through this Publish tab. All right, so let's talk now about deals. So deals applies to anybody, any sort of specialty, anybody who has any sort of real estate assignment. So I'm a listing broker, I'm a tenant rep, I just do investments, I'm an appraiser, it doesn't matter. Deals are any sort of assignment that you might get. And fundamentally, deals allow you to track simple things like, what's the sales stage? What's the amount of this deal? When is it going to close? What's the status? So it helps me understand my pipeline. You see all those sorts of fields there. But deals also serve as sort of your electronic file cabinet for organizing everything that goes on with with this deal. And that's a big challenge. So you do lots of stuff. You send emails, you have meetings, you have phone calls. ClientLook is built to help you organize all of that stuff around one or more deals. So every update that I add, I can tag link to a deal. In the same way, every email that I send can be sent to a deal. So every deal in ClientLook has its own email address. So when you send an email and you BCC a ClientLook deal, the email goes into this deal, and it also gets stitched up and related to all the contacts. So whenever you or your teammates want to know what's going on with a deal, you come here. Now, we take it a step further. These are the activities that you've scheduled for the deal. So this is the future stuff to understand, who's doing what to finalize this deal. But in the People tab, you can extend access to this deal to your clients. Hence the name ClientLook. ClientLook lets you, for free, collaborate with your clients in real time. And the goal of this is to allow your clients to self-serve their need for information. What's going on with my deal? So you can generate offline reports, as I mentioned. So you can print a report for this and email or fax it or mail it to your client if you want to. But the more modern approach is that they log in when they want to, and they see what's going on. Now remember, everything in ClientLook can be privatized. So the point is, you don't have to share everything with your client. You just share the stuff that you want. So these are those to the people that you related to this deal, either as prospects or interested parties, or they're your clients, and you check the little box that allows them to log in. These are the marketing campaigns that we send related to this deal, so you always understand, and your client understands what you've done marketing-wise and what your sort of success rate has been. And then we've got ways to subdivide your deals into smaller subsets. Okay, so a couple of final things here. let's talk about the way that we're logging activity. So I'm talking about this way that you privatize information and you only share it with a person or a team. So here's how that works. So now I'm in a context record, and you see up here at the top, I want to add an update for George Adams. So if I expand this little box out, you see that there's some other options. I can relate this update to deals or to properties. This is one or many. I can change my sharing. So down here in the bottom left, you see share update with everyone. That means everyone in my subscription. Alternatively, I can create teams, and I want to share it with just Michael and John, or the executive management team, or any sort of subset of users in your account that you want. You can assign this to somebody else who becomes one of their updates. And then up at the top, here's where I load my updates. So let me just add some information here. So I spoke to George about the deal. He wants to make an offer, and I've related it to this deal. So we just came from deal. So once I do this update then appears in that deal file as well. So this is the easy, simple way that we extend what we do in a context record and relate it back to our transactions. All right, let me just I'll show you the calendar here real quick. So ClientLook has complete, task management, event tracking, as you see here. So it's all very simple and easy. I'll coordinate back to contacts and make it easy for you to track stuff. But and this is Scoop. So you'll see up at the top here this menu item, Scoop. So everything that you and your team contributed to ClientLook gets put into a feed. And by default, you're going to see your own stuff. So I'm looking at all of the things that I've done, all the people I've contacted, all the tours I've had, whatever the case may be, and I see that here. But I can change this little pick list and look at any other user in my company. So I can see, what did Candace do today? Or I can choose all users, and it will show me a complete feed of everything that's happened in my company over whatever time range I choose. So literally I can, kind of scroll through, and assuming these updates have been shared with me, I can comment on stuff, and I can see what's happening across my company. And it's all searchable here really, really easily. Okay, marketing. So I told you I'd show you the way that we do this MailChimp integration. So here's how this works. The goal is to allow you to manage all of your contacts, all your email addresses in ClientLook. Okay, so you do that. You've got all your lists here. You've got groups of people here. You can do really targeted searching. So you pull up some special laser-focused list of people that you want to email to. And you click this little options menu up here at the top, and you choose send a MailChimp email. You simply choose a template that you've created in MailChimp. So MailChimp is a third-party email marketing tool. And then you have this list here where you choose what do I want the subject to be? What deals do I want to relate this to? What properties do I want to relate this to? You can schedule this to go at a later date. You can send it now. But here's what we get from that. So now I'm in the marketing tab, marketing module, and I see all of the campaigns that I've sent. And if I click down into one of these, I'll see, okay, here's my CBD market report. I see all the people that it was sent to. I can see the opens, the clicks, the people who unsubscribe. The point is, this isn't any longer just I send out an email with this big shotgun blast and I hope someone calls me. I can see exactly who connected and who engaged in some way with this, and I can get to their record. In fact, if we go to a context record here, this is where in Jessica's record you saw, she was sent 15 campaigns, and down below you see her kind of breadcrumb trail through, the emails that I've sent and her level of engagement. Okay, last thing, ClientLook mobile app. So this releases here in a few weeks. This is our iPhone app. We've got a Android app that will follow this in the near future. ClientLook, since 2009, has always been accessible on a mobile device. So you can log in with your phone, log in with your iPad, log in anywhere. This is our way of really carving out some native application on these devices. But as you can see here, it's super simple, super easy. This is all the properties, even the intelligent integration here down into the mobile device, and it's going to be a free part of our service. It's also something your clients can use for free, where they can log in and gain access to the deals that you've related them to, for no cost. And these are the ways that you can get involved with ClientLook. There's a free 21-day trial. Go online, clientlook.com, and you can pull that up. You can import data. You can use everything that I've shown you in the system. And our subscription rates over there on the right Best deal is annual rate $69 effectively per user per month. And if you're a new to the business guy, meaning that you're a new broker who's 6 months or less in the industry, you can get ClientLook for free for up to 6 months. And with all that said, I am done. So if there's any questions, please fire away. Otherwise, I guess we can move on to the next guy.
Hey, Michael, so there are a couple of questions. Someone asked, since the program's been established since 2009, why is there no ClientLook app for the Android?
Yeah, we really didn't need one. I mean, we always had mobile access, as I explained, through the web. So we've always had, since 2009, mobile access. iPhone app is our first going to dive into the native world, and the Android one will follow.
Okay, and then we have one more just quick question. It's, are the property relationships shared across the ClientLook community?
No, I mean, they're only shared within your account. And in fact, even within an account, the property relationships can be privatized. So I could say, I'm going to relate, Scott here to this property, but I don't want anybody in my office to know that I identified him as the owner. I can make that private. But no, certainly there's nothing in ClientLook that extends outside of your subscription or becomes known to anybody.
Okay, are there any other questions? I don't seem to see any from the chat.
All right, I'm going to pass the baton.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much. We'll be taking a quick lunch